Close your eyes and picture him, the fearsome warlord, black armor, a crescent moon rising from his helmet, and of course, the eye patch. Now I have to tell you something strange. That eye patch never existed. Not one document from the Sengoku period calls Date Masamune the one-eyed dragon. That nickname was invented in 1830, almost 200 years after he died. The eye patch itself first appeared in a 1942 film. The official portrait in Sendai City Museum, painted from his own will, shows both his eyes open. So who was the real man behind the mask we invented? The answer involves a ship built in 45 days, a samurai who met the Pope, and 600 descendants living in Spain today. September 5th, 1567. A boy is born in Yonezawa Castle. His name is Bonten Maru. He will become Date Masamune. As a child, smallpox steals the sight of his right eye. The exact details are unclear. Some accounts say the eye was removed. Others say it simply went blind. The records do not agree. At 14, he leads his first military campaign. At 17, his father hands him the clan. He inherits an army marked by black armor and gold headgear, a real documented style designed to terrify on sight. Then, in 1585, something terrible happens. His father, Terumune, is kidnapped during a peace negotiation by a rival lord. Masamune gives the order. He kills them all, including his own father, rather than let the enemy escape with a hostage. Within 5 years, the Date clan controls southern Mutsu. The speed is brutal. The mythology grows to match it. But the real Masamune was about to face an enemy he could not destroy. 1590. Toyotomi Hideyoshi has done the impossible. He has unified Japan. And now he is sieging Odawara Castle, demanding every northern lord come and bow. Masamune refuses. Then he delays. Then he delays again. For a daimyo facing the most powerful man in Japan, this is suicidal. When he finally arrives, he expects to be executed. So he dresses for his own funeral. White robes, his finest clothes. He shows no fear. Hideyoshi looks at him for a long moment. Then says he could be of some use, and spares his life. But the punishment is real. Masamune's ancestral lands are reduced. The next year they are taken entirely, triggering riots among his people. He never gets that territory back. For the next 20 years he walks a tightrope, powerful enough to be dangerous, careful enough to survive. And in the silence, he begins to plan something no one expects. By 1613, Masamune rules Sendai domain, one of the largest fiefdoms in Japan. He built it from a small fishing village. And now he has an idea that no one in Japan has ever attempted. He will send a diplomatic mission across 2 oceans, to the Pope, in Rome. The vehicle is a galleon, the San Juan Bautista. Built at Ishinomaki, using European shipbuilding techniques his engineers have studied in secret. The construction takes just 45 days. 800 shipwrights, 700 blacksmiths, 3,000 carpenters, all working at once. To lead the mission, Masamune chooses a man named Hasekura Tsunenaga, a mid-level samurai, stipend of 1,200 koku. And here is the twist. Hasekura's father had just been executed for corruption. Under normal law, Hasekura should have been executed too. Instead, Masamune restores his lands and hands him an impossible mission. Redeem your family, cross 2 oceans, meet the Pope. On October 28, 1613, the San Juan Bautista raises anchor. 180 people are aboard. None of them know what is waiting on the other side of the world. 3 months at sea, empty water in every direction. They sight Cape Mendocino on December 26, 1613. They land at Acapulco on January 25, 1614. And almost immediately, there is a fight. A Spanish commander named Sebastián Vizcaíno gets into a dispute with the Japanese delegation over gifts. He is stabbed. He is beaten. The whole thing is recorded by a Nahuatl chronicler named Chimalpahin, whose journals survive today. Remarkably, the colonial authorities side with the Japanese. They issue orders protecting them and allowing them to move freely. From Acapulco, they cross to Mexico City, then Veracruz. 6 days in Havana, then the Atlantic. They land in Spain in October 1614. And on the way to Madrid, they stop in Saint-Tropez, the first time a French town has ever seen samurai. The locals stare in wonder. They watch the Japanese eat with sticks. They watch them blow their noses into disposable silk paper and throw it away, a luxury beyond imagining. They watch a samurai cut a sheet of paper in half by simply blowing it onto a sword blade. But the strangest part of the journey has not yet begun. January 30th, 1615. Hasekura kneels before King Philip III of Spain in Madrid. He presents Masamune's letter. The request is bold: trade rights and Franciscan missionaries to be sent to Sendai. 2 weeks later, on February 17th, Hasekura is baptized in the convent of Las Descalzas Reales. His new name is Felipe Francisco Hasekura. His godfather at the ceremony is the Duke of Lerma, the most powerful man in Spain, the de facto ruler of the kingdom. Then on to Rome, November 3rd, 1615. Hasekura walks into the apostolic palace in full samurai attire, silk kimono, 2 swords at his hip, hair tied in a topknot. Before him sits Pope Paul V. He presents 2 gilded letters, one in Japanese, one in Latin. The original letters still exist today, sealed in the Vatican archives, where you can request to view them. The letters ask for missionaries. They ask for a trade treaty between Japan and the Spanish Empire. The Pope listens. He expresses warm support, but he signs nothing. And while Hasekura was being baptized in Madrid, something was happening back home. Something he did not know about. Something that would unravel everything. 1614. While Hasekura was crossing the Atlantic, while he was kneeling at the altar in Madrid, the shogun back home was issuing an edict. Tokugawa Hidetada ordered all missionaries expelled from Japan. He ordered the persecution of every Japanese Christian convert. The world Hasekura had set out from no longer existed. News of the edict travelled with European ships. By the time Hasekura returned to Spain seeking final agreements, the monarchs already knew. They refused him. The trade treaty was dead before the ink was dry. He came home the long way, Manila, then a long delay in the Philippines. Finally, in August 1620, he stepped onto the dock at Nagasaki. He had been away 7 years. The Japan he returned to was not the Japan he had left. Christianity was now a crime. The mission he carried was politically toxic. Date Masamune, the lord who had sent him, quietly distanced himself from the whole enterprise. Hasekura died 2 years later, in 1622. Members of his household were swept up in the great anti-Christian purges of the 1630s. Japan would not send another embassy to Europe for over 240 years. But the mission did not entirely end. At least 5 members of the Keichō Embassy never came home. They stayed in a small town called Coria near Seville to escape the persecution waiting for them in Japan. They married, they had children, and those children had children. Today, in Spain, approximately 600 people carry the surname Japón. It is the Spanish word for Japan. They are the documented descendants of the samurai who came with Hasekura and never returned. They exist. They are real. Which leaves us with the deepest question of all. What did Date Masamune actually want? His letter to the Pope read in part, "I'll offer my land for a base of your missionary work. Send us as many padres as possible." Beautiful words, pious words. And yet, Once the shogunate banned Christianity, Masamune reversed his position. He allowed Christian persecution in his own domain. He himself was never baptized. His eldest daughter, Irohahime, was reportedly a Christian. He did nothing to protect her faith. One theory holds that he wanted the foreign trade and the foreign technology, and Christianity was simply the price of admission. Some historians argue he was a man of genuine curiosity, crushed by political reality. Others see a cold strategist who used the church as a tool. The exact truth, like the eye patch he never wore, remains hidden behind a legend we built ourselves. Date Masamune died on June 27, 1636, esophageal cancer. He was 68 years old. The one-eyed dragon, the warlord who never carried that name in life, closed his eyes for the last time. And somewhere in Spain, his shipwright's grandchildren were already